All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the presentation. Thank you so much for being here. I was looking on my Facebook and I noticed that my other Facebook is not on there. So I don't know why that is. I don't know what in the world I did. But anyway, I messed. It's naturally blind. Yeah, because normally I have it on the other TikTok and it's or Facebook and it's not there. So I don't know. I don't know what in the world I did. So I guess we ran out of spots there, Mr. Producer. Unless I can go here and change it and there it is. So so that's what it is. So let me add this right now. And because it wasn't on my other Facebook, I was like, what in the world's going on? There it is. Now it's there. Okay. Well, happy Friday to you guys. I appreciate you all being here. And hopefully you're having a good day wherever you are. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thank you there, Bestie. And I appreciate all of you guys spending some time here on this Friday, wherever you are in this world. I have to go on my Facebook page because I have to open it up because for some reason it just didn't choose that one. But now it is. So there we go. So now it is officially running on that particular page. Okay. So hello, everybody. Welcome to the presentation. I'm Bishop Long. A couple things before we get into the meat and heart and potatoes and whatever else we're going to talk about today. I want you to go to a website. It's called kgrad.com. Well, thank you there, Bestie. So KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. And make sure, let me fix this. And make sure you put Bishop as your promo code because you're going to get 30% off your subscription. And I think that's a great idea. Why wouldn't you? So, hey, but again, they have some great shows there. So if you love the paranormal like I do, KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. Don't forget to put Bishop as your promo code. If you're going to get a prescription, well, thank you there, Psyche. I appreciate that. So, and also, if you want to go to my website, go to bishopjameslong.com. That's simple, bishopjameslong, LONG.com. And again, on the KGRADB, please don't forget. Make sure you go to put Bishop as your promo code. My website is bishopjameslong, LONG.com. And if you want to check out there, by the way, we have the online courses that I've done, the paranormal courses, they're now free. So if you want to take the courses, it's demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. And what you need to do is click on the class. I think it is. Let me double check here. Isn't that terrible? I think it's class. Let me just double check. Yep, it is. If you click on the class link and it says learn for free. And so what you do is just simply scroll down to 1, 2, 3, 4 links there, and they're on the Facebook. And if you want to make a donation to the church, that's wonderful. We would appreciate that. All donations go to the Abbot Tommy, and he takes care of all the funds. And so we appreciate. You don't have to, but it helps our clergy. So thank you very much for doing that. And then finally, the church's website is usocc.org. Well, hello there, Dead Air. Oh, George, how you doing, buddy? usocc.org. Now, that is the church's website. Now, by the way, tonight we do have night prayer 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so 10 p.m. But around, well, thank you, Paul. Paul, that's very kind of you. I appreciate that. So, usocc.org, and click on the prayer room link, or what you can go usocc.org, scroll all the way down, and you'll see night prayer, and you click that link. Now, it's strictly audio. So just keep that in mind. I studied Latin. When I was a kid, we had Latin mass, but we had a mean priest. He wasn't a very nice guy. I remember him as a kid when I was an altar boy. But yeah, so anyway, usocc.org, scroll all the way down, click on the night prayer link, and it's strictly audio. And we play music around 9:45. So, and it's the same, it's called, actually, night prayer is called Compline. So it's the same prayer that I prayed when I was studying in the Roman seminary. And it just, no matter what kind of day I had, how stressful it was, whatever it might have been, it's nice to be able to, kind of just like put all that stress out. So, so join us, usocc.org, scroll down, you'll see the night prayer, and you'll even see directions on how you can chat in the chat room. So you can follow directions there. There you go. So we would love to have you guys. Please consider doing that, and we'll go from there. Tonight is a really cool topic. Now, here's the deal on TikTok, though. TikTok, unfortunately, I have to address this every single time. I would love for the chat room to be open to everybody. That's the ideal world. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are just really rude and just incredibly disrespectful because I guess they just don't get enough attention. I don't know what it is. And they like troll. So what we do on TikTok is we put subscriber chat only on for the first hour because we just don't want to deal with trolls. We just don't want to deal with them. And then we'll open up the chat at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's really how we do it. That's how we have this kind of this program here, and we have to do it because otherwise people are they come in here and they're just really, really, really nasty, and we just don't tolerate that stuff. We're adults here. We're not kids, and quite honestly, I don't have time for trolls. So there you go. So anyway, we appreciate those of you who are offering gifts. If you offer gifts, thank you very much. If I don't say thank you, it's because remember, I run the show on multiple computers. So if I'm looking over here, I'm looking at this computer in the chats. And if I'm looking over here, I'm talking to you guys. Okay. All right. Yeah, tonight is going to be a cool topic. This is going to be an interesting one because I get asked, and of course, as soon as I put a video on TikTok, what happened? Trolls started immediately. You know, seriously, I've said this before. You can give people $1 million and they will talk smack about you because you didn't give them 2 million. They're just those people are just determined to be mean and hateful and nasty. And, but we know in the end, they will have to answer for their behavior. Oh, real quick, by the way, for those of you who suffer from migraines, because I do, a couple of years ago when I did the Legion of Exorcists show, the Eli Roth, I had the opportunity to meet Simon Cowell. And because they were doing our hotel was just down the street from their building when they were doing the America's Got Talent. And it was really cool. I knew obviously that was Simon Cowell because I went for my walk and I walked out. I saw, of course, the Phantom 5 Rolls Royce. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful, absolute, just a spectacular vehicle. And so I knew that was Simon Cowell's. So, but we went out there and there was like maybe 5 or 6 of us there. And he came out at the end. Very nice, very, very little, actually quite small. But he's very, very nice, very kind. And he was talking, well, thank you there for subscribing. And he was talking about his migraines because he gets migraines because of all the lights and the flashes of lights. So he actually, if you've seen him wear these orange tinted glasses. If you've seen on America's, so if you've asked, you kind of wonder why. Well, I did a lot of research and tried to figure out what glasses he wore. Ironically, the glasses are not that expensive. But for those of you who do not know, if you suffer from migraines, I did buy a pair from, and I'm not sponsored by these people at all. I'm just letting you guys know in case you have migraines. But this is from Yes Glasses, YES Glasses. And I was able to purchase a pair of what he has. And so it has an orange tint, and it also has an orange tint on the inside too. So yeah, a lot of them, they won't have the orange tint on the inside, but they have it on both. And this is actually really, really good for me. I use them when I'm driving. So that I have noticed that it does help when I'm driving not to trigger a migraine. These won't cure your migraines. I'm going to tell you that right now. My migraines are because of football from concussions, but things that trigger migraines. So I have these glasses here, and I really like them. But it's an orange tint, and I should contact this company and say, listen, you need to sponsor it. But it's called Yes Glasses, and it comes in a really nice package. So if you suffer from migraines or light, if you're light sensitive and it causes migraines, honestly, these have been really good. These have been really good. So there you go. Just wanted to share that with you guys and go from there. All right. Tonight, we're going to talk about a cool topic that a lot of people ask me about. And no matter where I go, people are always, if I go to paranormal conferences, portals, it's always brought up. Always. Oh, and one more thing, please keep Willie Windwalker and his wife, Shaman, in your prayers. They are really having some hard times right now. I mean, God love them. I'm going to go to his house this Sunday, and he just feels like he's under oppression. And this is what happens. And this is how demonic entities work. So let me make this very clear to everybody. Willie is he's a soul warrior. He's a spiritual warrior. He fights evil, and he's a good man. And he's been, helping people all his life. But he also understands that when you get in this type of ministry, there are consequences for doing so. And demons will wait for the perfect time to attack. They will wait. They're opportunists. So when you're sick, or your spouse is sick, or you're having issue, whatever it is that you struggle with, the 7 deadly sins. So it will attack that. Now, I'm not saying Willie's suffering I'm not talking about the 7 deadly sins, but they manipulate those things. But Willie's wife has gone through a tremendous turmoil. She had to have her leg amputated. And they've had some really bad experiences with the hospitals and rehab centers. So she actually fell the other day and broke her hip. So, it's just one thing after another, and it's not letting up. And this is what demons do. Demons will attack you or attack the ones that you love at your most vulnerable time. And it is like a pack of hyenas. And that's exactly what happens. One attacks, another attacks, and they just keep piling on. So I'm going to go to his house this Sunday, and we're going to perform the minor rite of exorcism. We're going to expel any type of evil that's there. We're going to also have mass. So it's going to be I think it's important. So this Sunday, I'm going to be there around 1 p.m. Eastern. So just, pray, for Willie and his wife, Shaman. This is the, and this is real talk. This is real talk. This is not filtering. I'm telling you exactly this is what it's like dealing with spiritual warfare. When you're dealing with spiritual warfare, these are the consequences. Not only is it the consequence of performing, as an exorcism, but also when you go out and you investigate these cases, when you go out and investigate demonic cases, you need to understand that you are marked. And the demons are going to wait patiently. And when they see an opportunity, that's when they attack. So this is how serious this is. And Willie has been in this ministry for a very, very long time. So he's incredibly experienced, and he has just been beaten down. Just beaten down. So let's definitely keep him and his wife Shaman in your prayers. And we'll go to his house on Sunday and hopefully just kind of, deal with that issue. So, yeah, I don't know. Catherine makes a good point. She says, I'm a little troubled about why some people have to leave nasty comments on anybody's video, even insulting people's babies and young children. It's weird. I agree. I know it's Sunday, Stormy. I agree, Catherine. I just, people ask me, am I afraid of demons? No, not at all. Why? Why would I be? I have no fear of demons. I have no fear of death. So demons frighten you and scare you, but I have no fear of death. I have absolutely no fear of it whatsoever. None. So they have no control or power over me. I take that power away from them. I deny it. I refuse it. But people ask me, so are you afraid of demons? Well, no. What I'm actually afraid of are how people can be so nasty to others and be able to put their head on the pillow at night. That scares the hell out of me. That is really frightening to me. It's how anybody could troll people, be nasty to people, and then think that's okay, and then put their head on the pillow at night and not even give it a second thought until thinking about tomorrow morning, like, oh, good, let's go. How much more chaos can I create in somebody's life? See, that to me, that is frightening because I don't understand that. See, demons, I understand. I've studied demons all my life. I understand the nature of a demonic. I understand their point. I understand their reasoning. I understand what their purpose is, what they want to do. I understand that. I can't ever understand how anybody can be cruel to another human being and be able to lay the head on the pillow at night and not give it a second thought. That is frightening. Okay, tonight tonight, folks, we are going to talk about time slips and portals. Portals is, well, thank you there. I appreciate that. Portals is, and for those of you who have no idea what I'm doing, it's kind of hard. I know I have to stop a lot when I'm doing shows. It's because I need to explain what's going on. So for those of you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Rumble, KGRDB Radio, when I say thank you, there are my friends there, thank you, who are offering gifts to the ministry on TikTok, or they're subscribing. So you'll have an idea for those of you who are like, what in the world is he saying thank you to? Is he a little nuts? So anyway, there you go. And thank you, moderators, for being here. So let's go. So time slips and portals in the paranormal. People ask me all the time about portals. And so I made a video on TikTok about tonight. We're going to talk about opening portals and how to close them and what you blah, blah, blah. Of course, immediately someone said, well, why would you tell someone how to open a portal? Well, I didn't there, sunshine. I'm talking about why people do it and then the consequences for it. I tell you what. But morning, Bishop. Well, Christina, where are you? Christina, she's a morning, Bishop James. Well, good morning there to you there, but you got to let me know what country you're in. All right. In the realm of the paranormal, so hold your questions, if you would, till about 8 o'clock, and then about 45 minutes, and we'll get to them. So in the realm of paranormal, and the concepts of time slips and portals, they're often discussed to explain various unexplained phenomena. Now, both concepts, they're rooted in the idea that the fabric of reality can be manipulated, resulting in unusual experiences. So let's talk about, Australia. Well, hello there. Welcome. So again, let's talk about the definition. Thank you for the follow. Time slips, let's define this. A time slip is an alleged paranormal phenomenon where a person or a group of people temporarily travel to a different time period. Now, I know some of you say, what? Come on. Folks, I'm just giving you the definition. This experience is often described as spontaneous and without the use of any technology or a scientific method. I agree, Catherine. So let's talk about, typically, it includes vivid and realistic encounters with past or future events. Now, Einstein talked about time travel, and if it was possible, he actually, thank you, he actually argued yes as far as future, but no regarding the past. Now, individuals experiencing, and I agree with that, because how can you go back in time when the individual is no longer in existence? So the individuals experiencing the time slip, they often report observing detailed, historically accurate scenes or interacting with people from another time. So the experience usually ends as abruptly as it begins, with a person returning to their original time period. So, for example, there's accounts of people suddenly finding themselves in a scene from the past, such as like a historic event or a long gone town, only to reappear moments later in the present time. And I would talk about some stories about people who experience this. It's one of those, it's a paranormal thing. So let's define portals. In the paranormal context, a portal is believed to be a gateway or like a doorway to other dimensions, like times and realities. They're often thought to exist in specific locations, and they can be natural or artificially created. And I'll explain both of those in a minute. Very important to understand. Now, portals, when you think about portals, they're considered points of high energy or anomalies in space-time when travel between dimensions or time is possible. So they can be, some people believe they can see, they can hear. Some people say they can feel portals in certain instances, though they often remain invisible to the naked eye. Now, associated, by the way, with various phenomena, such as like ghost sightings and disappearance or encounters with beings from other realms, a lot of people say that they use these portals to come through. So, for example, locations known for frequent paranormal activities, like haunted sites, areas with recurring UFO sightings, or even places with unexplained disappearances. They are sometimes theorized to be either near a portal or they're actually, that portal is there. So there have been many reports of time slips and portals from anecdotal evidence and personal accounts rather than scientific validation. So we have to clear that up. In other words, we have not scientifically validated this portal exists, this time slip, but I'm going to talk about some instances where it makes you scratch your head and wonder what's going on there. So yeah, Francis Marie says it makes you feel like you're standing on a boat, and we'll talk about that. The effects. What does it feel like? I'm really excited about this show because, believe it or not, I've never done a show about strictly time slips or portals. I do believe portals exist. Yeah, I do believe this, and I'll talk about that. Why portal is not such a to me, it's not really for me. It's not a difficult concept, only because I've been in the paranormal for so long, and when you understand the basic definition of it, you're like, well, that makes sense. We'll get that. But again, hold your questions for just a moment. We'll get to them at 8 o'clock. Now, the phenomena are often explored in paranormal research, like folklore and even fiction. And skeptics, we have to be fair, they generally attribute these experiences to psychological factors. So they attribute these things as they say, well, it's just all psychological. It's just, well, it's not, or misinterpretations. Some people even say they're phenomenal hoaxes. So both time slips and portals captivate the imagination. And there's a lot of debates regarding the nature of time, space, and reality. So let's get into a brief history, if you will, of time slips and portals. And because we really have to we have to trace their mention in ancient folklore and even in modern literature, which, by the way, portals and time slips is not something new. So the concept of time slips, when I say time slips, for example, you're just going into this forward or backwards in this time, and you don't know how you got there. Some people even say there's time slips of UFO abduction. So they're driving down the street at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and they just zone out. But then they have these memories of what happened, and now they're driving again, and it's 7 o'clock at night. They have no idea what happened between those 5 hours. So the concept of time slips and portals, it has fascinated people for centuries. And there have been numerous cultures and belief systems featuring tales of time travel, and even alternate realities and mystical gateways. This is why I think there has to be something there, because if this was only a cultural phenomenon, that was it, just one culture, then you can kind of argue, well, it could be indoctrinated into the, but it's happened across centuries. And of course, cultures, religious faiths, which is pretty fascinating. So let's talk about the Celtic mythology. And in Celtic mythology, or it's called She. The She are supernatural beings. They're called the She in the other world. So the She are supernatural beings who inhabit a parallel world. Thank you. And the time behaves differently in the other world. A person might spend what feels like a few hours there, only to return to find that years have passed in their own world. And this was in the Celtic mythology. Even when you look at the medieval European legends. So there's a Brigadoon. And this Scottish legend tells of a village that appears for one day for every 100 years. And visitors to the village are believed to experience a time slip when they enter it, living through an enhanced day when an entire century passes elsewhere. When you also look at Norse mythology, so the realms in Norse cosmology, there are these beings, if you will, they're separated from the Midgard or Earth by mystical barriers that function somewhat like portals. And time and space are fluid across these realms, so reflecting the gods' powers and perceptions. When you're looking at portals, Hindu mythology, by the way, ancient Hindu scriptures talk about vimanas, or flying chariots used by the gods. And these texts sometimes describe portals that connect Earth to the other realms, facilitating rapid travel and even spiritual journeys that transcend normal experience of time. In Greek and Roman mythology, there was the belief that portals existed, the gates of Hades. So these myths include numerous references to literal and figurative gateways to the other world. In Greek and Roman mythology, they truly believed that these portals existed. For example, Orpheus entered the underworld through a portal to retrieve someone, and such passages often disrupted normal time perception, with periods in the underworld seeming drastically shorter or even longer on Earth. There's portals that we see in Egyptian mythology, which is really fascinating. If you look at the Duat, which is the underworld in Egyptian mythology, the ancient Egyptians believed in portals, but they believed it was the realm of the dead. And these portals, they were guarded by deities and involved a series of trials. And you would have to, of course, complete these trials to reach a higher level of the realm of the dead. So time and Duat differed from the mortal world, with the journey of the deceased spanning a single night or an eternity, depending on one's perspective. And even when we're looking at portals, we see this in the folklore and even modern legends, like the Bermuda Triangle. Now, most of us have heard about the Bermuda Triangle, and I'm telling you, there are people that have flown through it, and everything messes up. The equipment messes up. Even ships have reported anomalies with this Bermuda Triangle. Is the Bermuda Triangle a huge portal? We just simply don't know, but we do know that there are quite a few people that are saying, hey, look, something is going on here. So for those of you who don't, the Bermuda Triangle is a region in the North Atlantic Ocean, and it has been associated with mysterious disappearances of ships and even aircraft. Now, some theories suggest it's a portal or time zone that transport objects and people to another realm of time. There's also, we know, the stone circles and sacred sites, across Europe. There's ancient stone circles like Stonehenge, and they are often believed to be sites where the fabric of time and space, they are thin. And folklore abounds with stories of people vanishing and even slipping through time at these sites. This is what's fascinating to me. Now, you can argue and say, well, this is just hodgepodge nonsense. There are people who are absolutely 1,000,000% convinced that these things do exist. And even in the Japanese yokai tales, there is the Tengu and time perception. So in Japanese folklore, the Tengu are supernatural beings. They're known to abduct people to their mountain homes, and people who encounter them often experience time distortions and returning to find that years have passed. And these examples, and there's actually people who have reported this, and there were people that have disappeared for a couple of years and then have come back and have told some really crazy tales. And these examples show that the notion of time slips and portals, it spans across various cultures and even air time zones. So revealing humanity's deep-seated fascination. As the old saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. So something is happening because there's too many people reporting it. And again, many people say that these tales primarily reside in the realm of mythology and folklore, but I wouldn't tell that to certain people that I have met who are absolutely convinced that they do happen. Let's talk about medieval legends. Some of you may have never heard of this. Medieval legends often carry rich stories of the supernatural, including tales of time slips and portals to other realms. So these stories, they're often rooted, let's be fair, in folklore and myth. They've fascinated generations. So here's a few really interesting stories of time slips and portals in the paranormal in the medieval times. Listen to this. There's the legend of Thomas the Rhymer. Thank you for the follow, everybody. So Thomas the Rhymer, also known as Thomas Learmonth, he was a 13th century Scottish poet. And he is said to have made a pact with the Queen of Elfland, leading to his disappearance for 7 years. And according to the legend, Thomas was taken through a portal to the land of Elfland. Folks, you can look it up. It's a parallel dimension where time, it flowed differently. So when he returned, he gained the gift of prophecy. And only 7 years had passed for him, while many decades have passed in the mortal world. It's interesting. Now, there's another story in the medieval times called King Hurla. Yep, yeah, Skinwalker Ranch has portals, absolutely. And people are absolutely convinced of that. So King Hurla. It's a legendary figure from British folklore, is known for his tale involving a mysterious figure, often to be considered the leader of the wild hunt, who invites him to a wedding in the other world. So after attending the wedding, Herla and his men return to find that centuries have passed in the human world, though it felt like only a brief period of time for them. Unable to reconcile with their changed surroundings, they become spectral figures, forever wandering. Now, there's also the Knights of the Fairy Mound. The Knights of the Fairy Mound. So in Irish mythology, thank you, there are numerous tales of humans encountering these fairies, the mythical people. And so one common story includes knights or individuals entering a fairy mound only to emerge many years later. And time within these mounds is said to follow different rules, often causing those who enter to find their former lives and loved ones have gone. They passed away. Thank you. There's also, now this is a really fast, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. And this is still unsolved. There's a lot of debates on this. But the green children of Woolpit. So in the 12th century, and this is a true story, in the 12th century, in the village of Woolpit, England, 2 children with green skin reportedly appeared. They spoke an unknown language and initially consumed only raw broad beans. And some interpretations of the story suggest that the children came from a subterranean world or alternate dimension. Although they eventually integrated into the local population, the origins remain a subject of mystery, and even a speculation regarding portals and parallel worlds. Now, I believe there's a little boy and a little girl. The little girl survived. The boy got sick, and he did not. And then she learned, obviously the language, and she was able to communicate with this world that she came from. It certainly isn't a world that sounds familiar at all with Earth. Take a look at that. You might want to look at this. There's a lot of debates. It's called the Green Children of Woolpit, Woolpit. Fascinating. Another story on the medieval is Rip Van Winkle. A lot of you say that name sounds familiar. Well, it was more post-medieval. Washington Irving's Rip Van Winkle narrates the story of a man who falls asleep in the woods and wakes up 20 years later, unaware of the passage of time. So Rip encounters mysterious men who lead him into a supernatural slumber, encapsulating the essence of time slips where time passes differently for those within the enchanted area. Then there's called the Bran, the Blessed, and the Isle of Women. Bran the Blessed and the Isle of Women. This is Welsh mythology. So Bran the Blessed embarks on a voyage to the mythical Isle of Women, and he and his companions experiences timeless revelry, only to find upon returning home that many generations have passed. So here's the story. The story illustrates the classic time, the differential often recounted in legends and enchanted islands. So these legends encapsulate the enduring human fascination with the concept of time. So allegedly, these people were not gone in their mind for very long, but when they came back, many years have passed. Really strange. We also see these occurrences in the Renaissance and Enlightenment era. So, for example, stories about time slips and portals, they're just these paranormal tales. Individuals report experiencing slipping into time periods and encountering mysterious gateways. Well, by the way, with concrete documentation of such stories, specifically from the Renaissance and the Enlightenment area, so we're talking about from the 14th century to the 18th century, it's a relatively rare given the historical context. But listen to these. The Renaissance era, there's a story of the vanishing town of Glastonbury. So you might want to look this up for those of you like paranormal. Glastonbury, it's a town in England. It's steeped in legend and myth, including association with King Arthur and the mystical Isle of Avalon. So according to some accounts, in the 16th century, a group of travelers reported stumbling upon a thriving medieval community in a remote part of Glastonbury. And they interacted with the townsfolk and noted the medieval attire and ways of life, only to find out that the town had vanished without a trace. There's another one in the this time, the medieval and the Renaissance, where is the not the medieval, the Renaissance era, John Dee's mirror. So John Dee was a Renaissance polymath known for his work in alchemy and divination. And by the way, he was an advisor to Queen Elizabeth I. Well, thank you, Melissa. So Dee possessed it's called a scrying mirror. So you might want to look that up. Those are really interesting stories. Scrying, scrying mirror, allegedly given to him by an angel. And through this mirror, Dee and his associate, Edward Kelly, claimed to have glimpsed both future events and otherworldly scenes, which some interpret as evidence of time slips or interdimensional viewing. And again, he was an advisor to Queen Elizabeth I. The Enlightenment era, it is the Moberly-Jourdain incident. Oh, he did. So thank you for letting me know that. So honey to my honey babies. Dee also confessed on his deathbed that they were demons. There we go. And now you know the rest of the story. So, okay. Well, thank you there, Jeff. I appreciate that. The next one is the Moberly-Jourdain incident. So, though this event took place in the early 20th century, it involves figures who might have felt somewhat close to their Enlightenment predecessors. So the story is this. In 1901, two academic women, Moberly and Jourdain, reported experiencing a time slip while visiting the Petit Trianon at Versailles. And they believe that they had encountered people in scenes from the time of the Marie Antoinette period. So their experience included vivid, detailed descriptions aligning with 18th century pre-revolutionary period. There's another one called the Ghost of Anne Boleyn. So Anne Boleyn is the second wife of Henry VIII. And unfortunately, she didn't live directly in the Enlightenment era, but her ghost is said to have a peculiar impact on time and place. She was unalived in 1536. So Enlightenment period accounts describe various sightings of Anne Boleyn's ghost at the Tower of London and other sites, and witnesses claim her appearance was accompanied by strange atmospheric changes, sometimes feeling transported back to Tudor times, suggesting a haunting that breaches temporal bounds. Now, certainly, during the Renaissance and Enlightenment era, the intersection of emerging scientific inquiring and even lingering medieval superstitions, it produced so much of like thoughts on the unknown and unexplained. But the Renaissance, like for example, natural philosophy, which is the precursor of modern science, and the struggle between reason and belief, often influenced accounts of paranormal phenomena. So there is a term called Renaissance humanism. And so this period emphasis on the human potential and individual experience may have contributed to personal accounts of mystical experiences and encounters with different realms. There's also the term called Enlightenment rationalism, and that shift towards scientific reasoning and skepticism towards supernatural interpretation meant that such stories, if they were told, were often discussed with a framework of emerging understanding or sometimes even dismissed as just flights of fancy. But we have to be careful about just immediately dismissing, because these are real to these people. Now, in the 19th and 20th century, there's a story of the vanishing of David Lang. And that's 1880s. Listen to this. David Lang's vanishing, it's widely known. It's an American legend. And according to the tale, David Lang, he's a Tennessee farmer. And he disappeared in front of his family while walking across his field. Disappeared. His wife and children watched him vanish into thin air. And allegedly, after his disappearance, a circle where the grass would not grow formed on the spot where he disappeared. I'm telling you, got to check this story out. Now, we have to be fair. It is now largely considered a fictional story by many people, popularized by folklore and even allegedly debunked by modern researchers. But there are still people that are absolutely convinced that David Lang, that this happened. His family said it happened. So You might want to do some research if you're interested. We talked about the Moberly Jourdain incident. This is really interesting. It's you might want it's a Moberly, Moberly, Jourdain, Jourdain. It happened in 1901, and those are the two women that actually were allegedly saw this event that occurred in the Marie Antoinette time period. Now, in the 20th century, of time slips and portals, there's the Bold Street time slip. 1996. This is really interesting. I mean, you could do a whole hour show just on some of these stories. But the Bold Street time slip, Frank and Carol, a married couple, they were shopping on Bold Street in Liverpool, England, when Frank entered what he thought was a typical modern store, and inside he found it strangely old-fashioned, with 1950s decor and decorations and products. And when he returned outside, everything appeared normal. So some suggest these events could be due to psychological phenomena or vivid dreams, but many enthusiasts actually said that this actually did occur. He actually told his story. You might check it out, Frank and Carol. So it's called the Bold Street time slip. Really interesting. Also in 1980, if you like Roswell, if you like UFOs, the time shift at Randlesham Forest in 1980. Randlesham, Randle, Sham, Sham. So the Randlesham Forest, it's often described as the United Kingdom's Roswell. Oh, you do? So Catherine lives 20 minutes away from Bold Street. Catherine, I'm curious, did you hear about that story? Have you heard about this? I would love to know if you've heard about it. Frank and Carol. They didn't tell what store it was, but I'm curious if you've ever heard that story before, since you're 20 minutes away. But in Randlesham Forest, again, it's described as the UK's Roswell. So while primarily known as a UFO sighting, some accounts from witnesses suggest experiencing lost time or time slips, where periods of time seem unaccountably short or extended. Now, in modern times, okay, you've heard about that one, yeah. So let's talk about the Liverpool time slip, and that's just fascinating. There's also the Versailles incident, and we mentioned about Moberly and Jourdain, and they saw this Marie Antoinette, the Gettysburg encounter. You need to read the book, The Facade. Okay, I'll check that out. Let me. I don't know if I have a pen here. No, the Facade. Okay, I'll have to put that in here. All right, the next one is the Gettysburg encounter. So multiple visitors to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, they've reported seeing apparitions of Civil War soldiers, where some accounts go beyond ghost sightings. And some people are describing an experience where an environment seemingly transformed into the 1860s. There have been people who have reported hearing battle sounds, and even seeing soldiers as if they were part of the ongoing skirmishes. They were actually there watching a war. And these experiences have been interpreted by some as time slips, where the past momentarily overlays the present. That's fascinating. There's also a story in Australia. It's called the Phantom Road in Australia, 2006. And in this account, a family driving through the Australian outback reportedly found themselves on an unfamiliar road that was not on any maps. So they described seeing peculiar landscapes and structures, suggesting they might have entered a different time or dimension. So after traveling for a while, they managed to return to a family territory, but with a profound sense that they had experienced something beyond ordinary. Really, really. Oh, you understand this? Yeah, that's now there's also the Vanishing Hotel in Scotland. That's 1970s. Listen to this. So two couples driving through Scotland reported staying overnight at a quaint old-fashioned hotel. But they described the decorations, the period clothing of the staff, and an extremely cheap bill as different and odd. And when they tried to return to the hotel later, it seemingly did not exist. And locals told them that no such hotel has been there for many years, leading the couples to believe that they'd experienced a time slip. Let me tell you something. I've been in the paranormal for a long, long time. This is not so unusual. You would be really surprised to know that there have been a lot of people who've experienced things like this. And they don't really talk about it because they think, well, people are going to think that I'm crazy. And I know I'm going to butcher this because it's in Japan, but the Daihoji Temple incident. Daihoji Temple incident. So in Japan, a group of teenagers visited this temple. And if you want to know the spelling, it's Daihoji. The facade. Okay, I'll look at that. A priest as a hero character in the facade. Okay, cool. So it's Daihoji, temple incident. So here's what happened. So a group of teenagers, they visited this temple, and they claimed they entered into a time slip. And according to their story, they saw the temple in its ancient original state, complete with monks and visitors dressed in traditional garb. And when they found their way back, their surroundings, they returned to the modern world. That's crazy. There's also the Utah Desert Anomaly in 2017. So in more recent case, a group of hikers in the Utah desert reported stepping through an unusual fog and finding themselves in a vastly different landscape, one that appeared prehistoric. And they hurriedly, retraced their steps after spotting massive creatures they described as ancient. So returning through the fog, they emerged back in the modern desert. So I love these stories. Someone's asking on Messenger. It's called the Utah Desert Anomaly, 2017. So we're going to look at some time slips and portals and talk a little bit about the differences, because I think we have to explain how time slips and portals are believed to transcend the traditional laws of physics. So let's first talk about spontaneous time distortions. So on spontaneous time distortions, individuals experience sudden shifts in their perception of time without any apparent external cause. And these anomalies can manifest as time speeding up or slowing down, moments feeling elongated or compressed, a sense of timelessness. Can we do something on TikTok? And by the way, on TikTok, I'll open it up to chat for everybody in about 15, 20 minutes. Can we put a... hello, my brain just said, goodbye, see you later. Can we put a little vote up there, if you will? How many people have experienced time lapse? Because I'm like a poll. I'm really curious. So if you've been in a situation where you were riding down the road, or you were at a location that's supposed to be haunted, and you experienced this unexplained time lapse where, you're driving down the road, it's 3:00, and then you just kind of come to, and now it's 8:00 at night. I would really want to know on because we have a lot of folks there on TikTok. So if someone could, there's a poll right now. A poll's going on right now, everybody. So we got a 1-minute poll. So if you've experienced, let me see this. If you've experienced, have you experienced time lapse? So do me a favor and just put a yes or no, because I'm just kind of curious. And it could be anywhere. It could be like if you just went out walking and it's 1:00 in the afternoon and you just kind of zone out, but you continue walking, and now it's 5:00 in the afternoon and you have no idea what happened between that time. So we have quite a few people saying yes on Facebook and YouTube. It's interesting. Okay. There's also a term called retrocognition. So that retrocognition involves the perception or experience of events or information from the past that a person could not have known. So for individuals that claiming retrocognitive abilities may describe vivid dreams, visions, sensations of being transported to a different time period. By the way, demons have that ability of retrocognition. So they have the ability of knowing your sins, not because they can read your mind, but because rather if sin falls under ordinary demonic activity. Interesting, 32 votes. So 59, let's just say 60% said no, but 40% said yes. Wow, that's really interesting. That's a really cool. That's a cool poll there. Wow, that's so a lot of people are experiencing this. And then there's a term called precognition, which is refers to the ability to foresee and predict the future. And so demons also have this ability as well. So retrocognition and also prognostication. Wormholes. So wormholes are hypothetically tunnels in space-time that connect distant points in the universe, potentially allowing for instantaneous travel between them. There are many physicists who argue that wormholes do exist. There's also a term called dimensional gateways. And they are envisioned or openings as a threshold between different dimensions or parallel universe. So reports of individuals encountering dimensional gateways describe sensations of crossing over onto an alternate realities. Many people talk about, CERN, many people talk about vortexes. So vortexes are areas where energy is believed to be concentrated or flowing like in a spiraling motion. It's often associated with paranormal activity, unusual phenomena. Some vortex sites are thought to act as portals or gateways to other realms. Now, black holes, they are extremely dense regions in space where gravity is so strong that not even light can escape. Now, there is speculation exists about the potential role of black holes as portals to other parts of the universe. And then finally, we have a term called temporal loop. Now, temporal loop, it involves recurring sequences of events that seem to replay themselves in a continuous cycle. A lot of people in Gettysburg are apparently seeing these temporal loops, and individuals caught in temporal loops may feel trapped in a time warp almost. Really interesting. So we talked about the Versailles, and it was just fascinating. Absolutely. The Philadelphia experiment. This is one that really even has me scratching my head. Many of you probably have heard about this. The Philadelphia experiment is an alleged military experiment that purportedly took place in 1943, aiming to make a Navy destroyer invisible to radar. Now, according to some accounts, the experiment created a time portal that caused the ship to disappear and then reappear at a different time and location. That's pretty fascinating to me. Oh, sorry. Okay. The next one, this is an interesting one. The time-traveling hipster. That's what it's actually called. The time-traveling hipster. A photograph taken in 1941 in British Columbia, Canada, shows a man in modern-day clothing that appears out of place for that particular time period. Folks, you got to check this out. Now, speculation arose that the man was a time traveler who accidentally found himself in the past, leading to theories of time slips and portals. Yeah, if you type in the time traveling hipster in 1941, and now, of course, Snopes said that a photograph supposedly showing a time-traveling hipster has been circulating on the internet since 2010. Although that this is from Snopes, although the image in question is real and unaltered, the man singled out in the picture for his supposedly unusual appearance is not a time traveler, they say. The image was first made public in 2004 when it was featured in Barlorn Pioneer Museum's exhibit, Their Past Lives Here. The photograph was taken in 1941 at the reopening of the South Fork Bridge in Canada. And when the museum digitalized and placed online the collection that included this picture in 2010, some internet users noted that a man in the photograph appeared to be dressed far too modern for 1940. I mean, when you look at it, it is kind of strange. So it says here, websites such as several websites picked up the phenomenon and republished the image with the headlines such as "Time Traveler Caught in 1940." The idea that the man in the photograph is a time traveler hinges on three items. He is seen wearing and holding that appear to be of too modern a vintage for the 1940s, a logo T-shirt, a small portable camera, wrapped around sunglasses, but all those items were readily available in the 1940s. But it does seem out of place. His T-shirt, for instance, bears the logo of Montreal Maroons, a temporarily appropriate hockey team that played in the NHL from 1924 to 1938. So glasses with protective side shields are also available in the 1940s. So anyway, you can look at that and make your own make your own decision. But it does seem interesting. Let me see if I can take a picture and hold on. Let me. So then you don't have to do that. So let me hang with me for a second, and I'll see if I can download it and show it to you. But it is an interesting picture. Okay, there it is. And let me edit this real quick, and that way you guys don't have to do it. So I'm going to circle it. That's good enough. It is interesting. So here it is. You can see this man here. Everybody, he does seem out of place. Now, is this a time travel? I don't know. But it certainly does appear a little out of place to me. It's interesting, isn't it? Even the haircut, I just, when I look at the hairstyle, it just, I don't know. That's it. I still think it's an interesting picture. So take a look at that. You can Google it and make your own decision whether or not this time traveler hipster in 1941, see. There's also the portal of the Hayu Marca. So the Hayu Marca, it's a region in the Andes Mountain of Peru, is believed by some to contain an ancient stone gate. I wish I could read that, but Catherine, I'd have to stop the entire show to read. That's a long. I appreciate that. I'll have to read that later after the show's over. But the Hayu Marca, it's a region in the Andes Mountains of Peru. It's believed by some to contain an ancient stone gateway known as the Gate of the Gods. So legend suggests that this portal served as a passageway to other dimensions or realms, allowing beings to travel between worlds. There's one very interesting as well, the time traveling pilot. In 1935, a British Royal Air Force pilot named Sir Victor Goddard reportedly flew through a time portal while on a routine flight over an airfield in Scotland. Now, Goddard claimed to have entered a storm and emerged in a different time period, where he witnessed an alternate reality with futuristic aircraft and unfamiliar surroundings. So let me do this puzzle on TikTok. There you go. Isn't that interesting? Take a look at that. The time traveling pilot, if you have it, it's 1935. If you're interested, read up on that. That's really fascinating. There's another one called the Vanishing Village of Kuldhara. So Kuldhara is an abandoned village in India, with a legend suggesting that the residents vanished overnight in the 19th century. And some believe that the villagers used a time portal or supernatural means to escape persecution, leaving behind empty homes. There's a story here. Someone said, and this is really fascinating, it's the Magic Hotel, 1979. A couple and their two friends went to France on their holiday, and they visited, or vacation. They visited many places. They'd enjoyed themselves. Then they decided to book a hotel. They were driving through a road when they saw an amazing but weird and strange hotel. They decided to stay at the hotel. And when they went inside, they saw something odd. They saw that people were wearing very old-fashioned clothes, which were like several decades old. And unfortunately, the hotel was full. So they went to another hotel and booked their rooms. But that hotel was also strange. Same old dressing style, same old architecture and all. They didn't think about much about it, but they clicked many photos of the hotel. And then the next day, they went to explore more places of France. And after sightseeing and enjoying, they were tired and decided to go back to their hotel. But when they came, they found a big, empty ground, empty hole, place, nothing in the hotel. There's nothing there. It disappeared. They were confused and scared because how can two hotels suddenly vanish in one day? So they asked the nearby people, and they told them that the ground had been empty for several years, and that there used to be two hotels several decades ago. So they suddenly remembered the photos they clicked, and when they saw the photo, they were extremely shocked and even scared. The photos of the hotel were blank. And most theories say that the four of them experienced time slip into the past. That is crazy. But isn't that interesting? Now, of course, there's a lot of people say, well, there's a lack of physical evidence. They say, well, the naysayers will say there's There's no scientific methodology to determine if these are real or these are neurological or psychological or misinterpretation. I mean, I'm sorry, how can you misinterpret that? You're at a hotel, you check in, everything is weird. You go down the road, you come back, and now it's not there. I mean, I understand the skepticism, but it is still makes you think. Yeah, folks. I'm telling you, I'm kind of scrolling through all the notes here because I could do a 3-hour show on this easy. But let's talk about portals because I think we need to get into that conversation as well because we have been talking about it. But understanding how to identify and close portals is crucial. It's absolutely important for those involved in the paranormal, as paranormal investigators, and hopefully we can explain a little bit to you guys. So portals in the paranormal, it refers to openings or gateways. They're believed to allow spirits, entities, energy from the spirit world to enter our physical world. And it's often thought of it as a kind of doorway that facilitates communication or interaction between the spiritual realm and our world. And many people who investigate paranormal activity are absolutely convinced that portals can be found in specific locations where there's high energy or spiritual activity. Let me explain. I can use these glasses to communicate with the spirit world, and this is opening a portal. That's what we're talking about in this very essence. And so let's talk about signs of portal activity. So sudden temperature changes, unexplained shadows or movements, feelings of heaviness or unease. A lot of people will say that if you're around a portal, you will have major electronic disturbances. Now, also, people talk about mysterious lights with portals. And even orbs. Orbs, I'm not a big fan of orbs because most of them are dust or insects. But there have been cases where people actually have seen with their eyes these orbs move around with different lights. Those are interesting. And one of the most well-documented signs of portal activity is the appearance of these mysterious lights. And witnesses have reported seeing these lights near where these paranormal activities believed to have occurred. So during portals, if you're near them, temperature fluctuations can occur. And a lot of people, if you're a paranormal investigator, you're like, yep. So people who have experienced portal openings often report feeling like a drastic change in temperature, either sudden increase or decrease. And or even atmospheric conditions is completely different. This energy changes. It's quite extreme. Electronic interferences occur almost every time around portals. And a lot of paranormal investigators tell me that this is a 99.99% guarantee that you're going to have. So if you notice like unexplained glitches in your electronic equipment that's never happened before, like phones, cameras, computers, it could be a sign that there's a portal that's nearby. Francis Mears says, feeling lethargic. I'm going to open up chat on TikTok because I did tell everybody that I would at 8 o'clock. We'll see how that goes. Just be kind, everybody. Because I will try to answer as many questions as I can while I'm doing this. Because I know for an hour I give a lecture, but I'm still going to talk about portals for the remaining of the presentation, but I'll still answer questions too. Okay. And again, folks, thank you there, Lynn. And I apologize that I have to turn off, the thing, but I have to, because if I don't, it gets really just so distracting. And people ruin it for everybody else. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So let's continue on our portal discussion. A lot of people talk about the sacred stones. Oh, your watch stopped. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So someone is saying, thank you for sharing. Teresa is saying that in Avebury, UK, the sacred stones stopped her watch. Interesting. Some people also, when I'm, you're near a portal. How do I know to remember this when I don't understand. By the way, some people report distorted sounds and voices. So individuals who have come into contact with portals have reported hearing strange sounds. and even voices that they can't explain. And these sounds may include like whispers, echoes, even unintelligible languages. And these, some people believe these auditory anomalies are messages from entities on the other side of the portal, but you can actually hear them. Otherwise, they're known as disembodied voices. And really interesting. Time distortions does occur quite often with portals. And many people say that portals are said to bend the fabric of time, causing time distortions or anomalies. Now, people who have encountered portals may report losing track of time, like experiencing time loops or feeling like they've traveled through time. Is there any rule of number? No, that's a good question, Robert. There's quite a few people who have reported multiple portals in multiple locations. Folks, I'm not going to keep answering. If you got usocc.org, that's the name of the website, usocc.org. And please keep in mind, for those of you on TikTok, I have multiple chats open. So just to kind of be that, just bear that in mind. Also, feeling of being watched. People have reported when they're around portals, people have said that they've been near a portal report, like a feeling, a strong sensation that you're being watched. The feeling of presence can be accompanied by like chills or goosebumps or a sense of unease. Some believe that these entities are guardians. And okay. Lily says that to experience very high screeching sounds, watch stops. Okay, very interesting. There are, Zach, a lot of people near portals have reported shadow people too. Yeah. Now, so let's talk about portals, because this is really important, okay? There are natural portals, okay, natural portals, and then there's created portals. So we need to understand the difference because there is a difference. So natural portals are believed to occur spontaneously in nature. They're often associated like with specific locations, like ancient sites, energy vortexes, areas with high electromagnetic activity, like the Bermuda Triangle. And those are natural portals. They're typically refers to a location phenomena in nature that serves as a gateway passage, or like those stone places you were talking about. In various spiritual or mystical beliefs, natural portals are seen as places where the energy is particularly strong, or where the veil between the physical and spiritual world is believed to be thinner. And natural portals could also include caves, forests, mountains, bodies of water, and other natural formation. I'm not going to talk about other clergy members. So different cultures and traditions may have their own interpretations, okay? So let's talk about natural portals. Like Lee lines, that's invisible lines connecting sacred sites, believed to have strong energy. There's also a term called energy vortexes. Spiraling energy centers where the veil between dimensions is thin. There's also some people, now I don't know, I have not. The CIA document on portals, I have not seen that. That's interesting. Some people say there are fairy rings. I don't believe in fairies, but that's just my own personal opinion. They say there are circular patterns in nature believed to be a doorway to the fairy realm. Again, I'm presenting to you what people have talked to me about, what I have also researched, and you can say, yep, that makes sense, or nope, that doesn't make sense. We talked about the Bermuda Triangle. So like examples of natural portals, the Bermuda Triangle, Stonehenge, Sedona, Arizona, that we talked about earlier. Now let's talk about created portals, okay? So hello to everybody. So created portals are intentionally constructed or activated by individuals or groups. So the created portals can be done by ritualistic, technological, metaphysical in nature. So like ritual portals created through ceremonies, spells, invocations to open gateways. At the gates of Hell Cemetery, portals were open through satanic rituals. There's also a term called technological portal. Now, again, that's created, generated through advanced technology or machinery, like CERN. Again, folks, here's the deal. If you say I give up, you're not going to get my attention because I have a chat here, I have a chat here, I have a chat here, and I have a chat here. So I have multiple chats going on at once. So just relax. Then there's metaphysical portals. That's created through meditation or visualization, focused intention. So, for example, another created portal would be the Ouija board. Stay away from the Ouija board. Stay away from it. You are opening a portal. It's used to communicate with spirits by opening a portal to them to interact. You don't know who you're communicating to or with. Why would you do this? There's another created portal that people say it's stargates. It's often depicted in science fiction. These are hypothetical devices for interstellar travel. Well, I mean, no, you got to be careful with portals. I would encourage people not to open them. Astral projection that many people believe in. It's a practice where individuals project their consciousness to other realms or dimensions. Again, what I'm doing is I'm teaching you about portals, and you can say, yeah, I believe in this, or I don't believe in that, and that's fine. So let's talk about the risk of portal exploration. Well, here's the deal. You can bring in well, we'll talk about that. We will talk about, unwanted entities. So portals can attract negative energies. And I'm telling you, a lot of times they do. They can also, the dangers can cause disorientation. So traveling through portals may cause confusion or disorientation. People will also say there is safety measures. There are issues with people say that you can be psychically protected, visualizing shields or light, asking for spiritual protection or setting intentions, closing the portal. But here's the deal. As a, I don't know why. Ruth is saying that TikTok is echoing. Tell me if it's echoing for anybody else. It might be Ruth. It might be but you might have to refresh or. So TikTok. Okay, no, everybody's saying it's not echoing. So it must have been if you have two devices open. So anyway, I'm here's still when you use a Ouija board. And you say, well, I'm going to surround myself with white light. Okay, that's fine that you're surrounding yourself with white light, but you can't have it both ways. That's okay, Ruth. You see, you can't have that both ways. So when you're using a Ouija board to communicate with the spirit world, thank you, you don't know who you're communicating with. And to be honest with you, demons don't care about your white light. Because what you're doing is you're giving the invitation. Oh, thank you. Oh, please, thank you. You're giving the invitation, and at the same time, you're saying, "Oh, but I have a white light around." It doesn't work that way, folks. That's not the way it works. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. People say, "Oh, yes, it does." I'm telling you, as an exorcist, it does not, because I've had cases where people surrounded themselves with white light. They played with the Ouija board, and then they had all hell break loose in their house, and then they learned very quickly that demons don't care about your white light, because you can't have it both ways. You can't surround yourself with white light, but then purposely engage in invitation. That's where the danger lies. So, well, thank you there, Lynn. Well, that's beautiful. So it'd be the same way I can't get in a boat and cut my arm and jump in the ocean, and then a bunch of sharks all of a sudden start circling me. But you can't attack me. I'm surrounding myself with white light. You can't attack me. And the sharks will say, watch. And that's the same thing with the demonic realm. If you give the invitation, jumping in the ocean by cutting your arm, then you say, "Oh, I'm surrounded by white light." We'll see how fast that white light works, because the sharks don't care about your white light. So let's talk about portals, the dangers, and there are negative entities can absolutely enter through portals. You can have increased paranormal activity, and there also can be emotional, physical repercussions. And throughout history, humans have been fascinated by the idea of connecting with other realms or dimensions. However, what many people fail to realize is the inherent dangers that come with tampering with forces beyond our understanding. So you can be communicating with unknown entities. One of the primary risks for opening a portal in the paranormal is the possibility of unknowingly inviting malevolent entities into our world. Because you can say, I'm going to use the Ouija board, but only good spirits can come through. Watch. Demons don't obey your rules. You don't set the rules. You may set the rules in your mind, but you don't set the rules when you open a portal. You cannot set the rules on how it works. You don't create the portal and say, well, this is my universe. That's not how it works. You have to accept the possibility that something evil is going to come through. And that's 100%. And that, because you can't then say, well, I'm going to set the rules. Well, the rules don't work. You don't set the rules. The rules have already been set. Once you open the invitation, then harm can occur. Also, be careful when you're opening portals. Don't do that, guys. Remember, your energy can be drained like that. People have told me that they've opened portals, and another danger is it causes complete and total energy drain, because they act as gateways to energy to flow between dimensions, and this can result in a significant drain on the individual who's even opening it or at their close proximity. And it can lead to feelings of exhaustion, weakness, diminished well-being. It can loss of control can occur. So it can be challenging to control what comes through. Entities may take advantage of the opening to gain access to this world. And once they're here, it's very difficult to banish or remove them. I'm going to tell you this right now. Well, thank you, folks. When you do something and you give the invitation to communicate with the spirit world and something evil comes through, and then you go home and you have demonic infestation, please understand that it is not a quick one and done thing. Sometimes it will take multiple prayers, multiple minor rite of exorcisms. This is not a quick fix. And I think sometimes when people realize the mistake they've made, then they want clergy just to come in and fix it. It doesn't work that way. It just simply doesn't, because you gave the invitation. Well, Bishop, I didn't mean to give the invitation for evil. You gave the invitation once you opened the portal. There can also be psychological impact. And it's true. The presence of otherworldly entities can induce feelings of fear, anxiety, paranoia. And over time, that can lead to mental health issues such as depression or post-traumatic stress disorder. Thank you. So these are really, really frightening things to think about. So here's some methods that some people say on how to close portals. All right. So let's get into it. Let's say you've accidentally opened one you didn't want to. Or let's say you're at a location and you just feel that it's overwhelming. You feel that there is some portal there and you want to close. Fine. So here are a couple things that you can do. First, set intentions and boundaries. So clear your mind and focus on closing the portal. Use affirmations or prayers to set up the intention of sealing this portal. Now, some people will use sage. I have no problem with sage. My grandmother was Cherokee. I have no problem. Actually, I did a presentation on sage and the incredible benefits of using it. So sage, or you can use sacramentals of the church, holy water, incense to cleanse the area. And you visualize a protective barrier around that portal. Then always, no matter what you do, before interacting with closing a portal, you call upon your spirit angels, your guardian angels, Saint Michael. And of course, I'm a Benedictine, so I will call upon Saint Benedict. And the Saint Michael prayer, candles, Saint Michael, the archangel, defend us in battle, be our protection against the malice and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all evil spirits who wander the earth seeking the ruin of souls. So that is the short form. There's also the longer form. So I always call upon Saint Michael before I'm going to close any type of portal. Now, I don't do this because I don't have, I guess, this ability, but there are many people believe in energy healing. Now, people don't like Reiki. I've actually met nuns, Roman Catholic nuns, who practice Reiki on individuals who are close to passing, and they're incredibly stressed, and the body is anxious, the person is anxious. And I've witnessed this firsthand, where a nun would practice this Reiki, and she would just kind of like, I can't even describe it. So those of you who are Reiki practitioners, but she did a couple of things like this, and the person, the distress just seemed to calm. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird. And I saw it with my own eyes. And this was a Roman Catholic nun. And so a lot of people say channel healing energy to close the portal. And then, of course, visualize the portal sealing shut. I don't do this. I do, of course, use visualization. I call upon my guardian angel, call upon St. Michael, and I bless the area. And, of course, I visualize the portal and closing all portals and sealing it. There's a lot of people who absolutely swear by Reiki. Now, there is participants will practice like closing some people say this, when you close like a simulated portal using methods like, for example, portals, we talked about how they are gateways, and the dangers of opening portals. Again, don't do it. They're very serious, the cause for concern, and they can cause all kinds of emotional, physical trauma. So always set the intention. One of the most straightforward methods of closing a portal is to set a clear intention and visualize the portal closing. And by focusing your energy and intention on sealing the opening, you can effectively block any, of course, with the sacramentals of the church, unwanted entities, we bless. So if there is a portal in this area, whatever it might be, or if I can't see portals, and I'm not going to say that I can't, I don't. I can feel the energy, but I can't see them. When I go to a location that I know that has satanic rituals or things done that should not have been done, I already know by that very action there is a portal. How do you know that, Bishop Long? Because there have been satanic rituals that have been performed in that place. The whole purpose of these rituals is to communicate with the spirit world, in this case, evil. Therefore, a portal has to be utilized in order to communicate with the unknown. So you already know that a portal exists. Portals are not magic. It's not fairy tale. It's a term that that the door, think of a portal as a door. The door has been opened. And I create, in essence, by the sacramentals of the church. When I say sacramentals, I'm talking about incense, oil, holy water. So I create a sacred space around that area to help contain its energy and prevent it from spreading. That's why in the minor rite of exorcism, I will always try to bless outside. Always. And in my case, as an exorcist, as a clergy, I will perform the minor rite of exorcism. Now, you don't perform an exorcism on a house. That doesn't exist. You can't perform an exorcism on a house. Thank you. You bless a house. You perform the exorcism on the demonic that has infested itself within the home. So that's the huge difference between those. So as an exorcist, as clergy, I will perform the minor rite. Now, you can bless your home too. And I would encourage you to. You can do the epiphany of the doors. And, a portal, think of it. See, portals, people, I think sometimes we watch movies and we have this perception that a portal is just a sort of spinning thing, like a tunnel that you can see. Think of it, a portal is just I can use this as a portal. So, for example, if I put this on the table and I say, is there any spirit here? Can you please move this? Because I am opening a portal. And it moves. Thank you very much. Can you do it again? And it moves again. I've now opened a portal. Because in essence, so it's basically it's a communication line. So you're opening the communication to whatever it is that you're communicating with. And now that portal, that's what it means. So a lot of people think this is hard, like portals are just, the science fiction kind of thing. That is in its very basic essence of what a portal is. You've opened a line of communication between you and the spirit world in which you have no idea you're communicating with. Right, right. And that's true. And there have been people who have been used as portals, which I personally feel is very dangerous. And I would encourage anyone, I don't think that's a good idea. Uh, it's never a good idea to give any spirit the ability to control any type of motor functions or thought processes or anything of this nature. I don't want the only spirit that I want to have control over me is the Holy Spirit. That's it. I don't use tarot cards. I know people who do. Here's the deal. You're asking an exorcist, is tarot cards bad? You already know what my answer is going to be. No exorcist is going to tell you, sure, use tarot cards. So because I don't think, look, anytime you communicate with the spirit world, anytime, it doesn't matter. I have this candle. I can use this candle as a portal. Wow. If there's a spirit here, I'm not going to do it. So, for example, if I was to give the invitation, well, thank you there, Lynn. If I was going to give the invitation to a spirit to blow out the candle blows out. I have now opened the portal. This instrument is what I am using to open the portal. Do you see? So it's not a hocus pocus kind of, well, let me just throw holy water over here. It's not that at all. I've used this device now to open that portal. So this needs to be blessed. So that's what we're talking about. And so I don't use any, when I go, look, here's the deal. When I go to a location, I already know what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with demonic because that's when I get involved with cases. But if you use any device to communicate with the spirit world, you are opening a portal. That is the way portals work. That is the way the communication works. It's kind of like, for people who are visual learners, it's opening the door. You're opening the door and saying, okay, is anyone in here? Yep. And that portal now is open. That communication is open. The portal, I think the name is confusing to a lot of people. And I understand that because I think of science fiction movies. That's right. So anything that you use, these glasses, for example, I can use these glasses and put these glasses on the table. Can you please, if you're a spirit, can you please move these glasses? Now the glasses move. Now I have used this item to open that portal. These glasses absolutely need to be blessed. Why is that? Because the demonic can attach itself to it. So this is why I understand. Look, I have friends from all walks of life, and I'm not here to tell people. I'm not anybody's parent. We're all adults. But my job is to tell you the dangers that come with opening portals. And I tell you that not because I'm being judgmental or because I'm not, but I got to tell you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because it is dangerous. And I think anybody who opens portals will tell you it is dangerous. So, yeah, 2020 visions, yeah. I agree. Yeah, absolutely. And you can bless, for example, if you can go to ask any clergy member to bless, so holy water. You can go to a Catholic church and you can get holy water. And if I buy anything, I know it sounds crazy, but I've seen too much. So if I buy something like a thrift store or something that's really cool, I'll always bless it. That just only because I've seen so many people buy things from locations and they're just so drawn to it and they can't stop thinking about it. And then crazy stuff happens in there, like that doll on the Eli Roth show that I was on, the Legion of Exorcists. So, oh, you're very welcome. I agree. Well, hello there, Ireland. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, what would be your opinion on a graveyard cemetery? Can portals be opened from them? 1,000,000%. As a matter of fact, the Gates of Hell Cemetery. So, the Gates of Hell Cemetery in Kentucky. Unfortunately, a lot of people go there and do some bad things. As a matter of fact, you can go watch the documentary on my YouTube channel. Make sure you do that because TikTok we just don't know. TikTok may be banned. So if you're on TikTok, go to bishopjameslong.com. Scroll down to where it says official like social media links, and you'll go to my YouTube page. Make sure to subscribe. It's free. Just push the subscribe button, and then you can watch it. It's the Gates of Hell Cemetery. So I think that's it's that place is really dark, really, really dark. Well, smudging is the same thing as using, like, for example, using sage. I have no problem saging at all. None. The problem with sage and the bad rap that it got is because a lot of people in the New Age movement uses sage. And so therefore, a lot of people immediately say sage is evil. That's it. That is so absurd. Sage in of itself is not evil. It is what you do with sage to determine whether or not the act is evil. We can do, I mean, because like money, people say money is evil. No, money is not either good or evil. Money is irrelevant. Money is a material possession. But what you do, the act, what you do with that money determines whether or not it's evil or good. So to me, it's kind of like, and we talked about, I did a presentation, I guess I'll have to do another one, on sage and the actual great benefits that come with saging. I don't have a problem with saging. My grandmother was Cherokee. So, and she was absolutely Christian. I know she was Christian because I baptized her. So I find it really kind of upsetting when people immediately attack people who sage. So I guess I'll do another presentation on it. But personally, I will use a sacramental of the church. So incense, that's what I use. Well, like, for example, Jeannie, if they go and they put a Ouija board and that portal now is open, that communication is open, you've given the infestation. Look, think of it like this. Okay, so you go to a cemetery. Someone's asking about cemetery. So you go to a cemetery, you have a Ouija board. You are using this Ouija board to communicate with the spirit world. So now what you've done, not you, I'm not saying you, an individual, hypothetical. So now what that person has done is given the invitation for any spirit to come through. That's the way a Ouija board works. It doesn't care about your white light. That is irrelevant. And I mean, it's irrelevant. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. So you cannot play with divination and say, but I'm going to surround myself with white light. Bull. Doesn't work that way, sunshine. It doesn't work that way. If you do it, you need to know their consequences, whether you surround yourself with white light or not. So you play with the Ouija board, and in this cemetery, something evil then accepts your invitation. Now you have demonic infestation in that area. Do you understand? So now that you have desecrated a sacred place, which is the cemetery, that is a form of desecration. And I don't think people quite understand that. And it's highly offensive. I mean, if I have a loved one who is buried there, I wouldn't want someone coming with a Ouija board and opening a portal and an evil coming now through and now have desecrated the land that you have given the invitation for. And it can also attach itself to you. So now the land is now desecrated and having demonic issues. And now the demonic has attached itself to you. Now, people say to me all the time, I don't believe this. I don't care if you believe it or not. I'm not here to listen. I don't get paid for this. I don't get paid from the church, and I don't charge for exorcisms, and I've been doing it over 2 decades. I'm not here to prove to you the demons exist. I'm here to help the families who know they do. So if someone says, well, I don't believe it, okay, fine. Well, okay, go talk to your therapist. What do you want me to do about it? I'm just telling you what I have seen and witnessed. You can accept it or not. But I cannot tell you how many times that trolls and hater gators have said, oh, that's the most stupid thing in the world. And then they go out and they do something stupid. And then they call me. And I say, no, wait a minute. I thought you said this was stupid. What about all this hodgepodge? You're doing this to control people. You're doing this for fame and fortune. What about all that? Oh, Bishop Long, I was wrong. And now all of a sudden you're wrong because you need my help. Got it. All right. Now I understand the score. It has happened many times. Unfortunately. Many times. So, why do people get possessed? Amy wants to know, because there usually is an invitation. I know people who are psychic mediums. So let me answer the first question. Remember, folks, so people are kind of getting angry. I'm going to say it again. I have a computer here, and I have a computer here. I have a chat here. I have a chat here, here, and here. I also have a chat here on TikTok. So I'm trying to go through as many questions as I can. So just I'll be here tomorrow. By the way, I will be here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. We have open mic night for 30 minutes from 8 to 8:30. We just goof off with Judy Ann and Miss Wilma and myself. And then at 8:30, I promise you, I'll get into your questions. I promise you. Tonight's I do more lecture. So Fridays, I do lectures on the paranormal and try to answer as many questions. And then Saturday is where I answer, we kind of just chill and answer a lot of people. How do people get possessed? Usually it's because of invitation. So in other words, you could go and play with a Ouija board or do things you should not do. You've given the invitation, or you could have had situation where you go to move into a place that had a pre-existing haunting. So someone could have opened a portal by satanic rituals and the place was infested. You move into it, paranormal activity occurs. That has happened many times. But most of the time it is at least from my experience with possession, 99% of the time there was some form of invitation. And when I talk about invitation, I'm not talking about, well, Bishop Long, I played with a Ouija board, but I didn't want to I didn't want to make connection with a demon. Thank you. I understand that. I get it. I truly understand it. But demons don't play by the rules. So that's where the problem lies. People think that because you play with the Ouija board, but your intention is only make communication with a good thing. Well, that's not how demons work. It's just not. And now, by the way, for those of you who don't know, I've talked about this a couple of times. Now they have this crap. There you go, folks. This is an actual, it's a Holy Spirit board. The Holy Spirit board. That's what it is. It really is. It's called the Holy Spirit. I know some of you have never seen it before. There it is right there. For those of you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, KGREDB Radio. The Holy Spirit board. This is blasphemy. This is absolutely blasphemy. And by the way, a family used this and they didn't communicate with the Holy Spirit. So it says here, there's rules. There's rules here. And the rule says, place the game on the board. Okay. Place the magic cross. The magic cross, everybody, on the board. Have everyone lay thy hands upon the magic cross and say the following prayer. And this is the prayer. Oh, magical Jesus. He's not David Copperfield. Oh, thank you there, Flutter. Oh, magical Jesus, please guide our hands to answer our questions. Amen. And next, ask Jesus a question. It can be any question you want. Jesus knows everything. Let the Holy Spirit guide your hands to move. See, it is such blasphemy. So let the Holy Spirit guide your hand to move the magic cross around the board. You can ask yes or no questions. And when Jesus has answered all your questions, don't forget to say goodbye. And remember, anyone who says that the Holy Spirit board doesn't work is both a liar and a sinner in the eyes of God. Well, in the eyes of our Lord, that's what it says. Well, I guess I'm not a liar and a sinner because this does work. This does work. But you ain't communicating with the Holy Spirit. And if you think you are, then I can't help you. So here's the board. That's what it looks like. Right there. I mean, this is blasphemy. This is disgusting. And here, by the way, is the magical cross. That's the magical cross right here. That's it. And a family bought this, and needless to say, they got some really violent activity in their home. And of course, they, let's see, what idiots made this? Holy Spirit Games. That's all it says. Oh, and on the back, by the way, I've never showed this. On the back, it says, are you looking for a fun and easy way to communicate directly with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? Well, now you can. With the Holy Spirit board, you can ask Jesus anything your heart desires, and he will answer back. The Holy Spirit board is the only spirit board that you can use without sending your mortal soul directly to hell. What will you ask Jesus? Manufactured in China. That is bullshit. It is evil. It is disgusting. It is demonic. Thank you there, Lynn. And that right there, perhaps I'll let a dog relieve themselves on it and we'll find out if it works. Then you can say, holy shit. Okay. I mean, so holy stuff. Sorry, a little slip of the tongue. Sorry, my bad. Okay. This is stupid. Really, you have to laugh, otherwise you'd cry because it's just so dumb. By the way, I'm going to be at the Expo, Paranormal Expo, Arkansas Paranormal Expo. So let me oh, there it is. So I'm going to be there October the 26th and 27th. So if you guys want to meet, I would love to meet you guys. And it's going to be October 26th and 27th. And it's really cool. It's the Arkansas Paranormal Expo. It supports the MacArthur Museum of Arkansas Military History. Really love that. They're a 501c3. And so it's a nonprofit organization. So it's a Saturday and Sunday. And I'll be there. And so I'm looking at the time. I just realized this Saturday is 9 to 5 and Sunday it's 9 to 5. So I probably will not be back in time for a Bible study, regrettably. But anyway, it's ArkansasParanormalExpo.com. What makes it poo holy? So yeah, ArkansasParanormalExpo.com. I will be giving a presentation. I think I'll be giving two. I think. So if the first one will be the demonology and exorcisms and what is true, what is false, and then the next one will be a presentation on haunted items. So I will have a large collection with me of objects that I have taken from people's homes, and I will talk about what happened, what they experienced. And you can see these items for yourself. I will have the John Wayne Gacy pictures, the paintings. I'll have a pair of Dahmer's glasses that someone purchased. Why, I don't know. And I'll have several other items that you can check out. So I will be there. It's the ArkansasParanormalExpo.com. And there we go. It's October 26th and 27th. I would love to go to Michigan. I've been to the paranormal. I think I've been to a Michigan Paranormal Expo. That was a long time ago, though. So I haven't been there in a while. There's a couple places. There's a couple other folks who've asked me to come to their conventions this year, so I'm going to have to make some phone calls and see what it's about. By the way, listen to this. Did you guys hear this? Listen to this. Oh, wonderful. This is by Michael Heen. This is really interesting. A mysterious flooding occurs at the Titanic Museum. It's known as a hotspot for paranormal activity. I've been to this museum. I love it. Love. I've loved Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, but a Titanic exhibit and museum in suburban Chicago. They have one in Pigeon Forge. So a Titanic exhibit at a museum in suburban Chicago inexplicably flooded last month, prompting some speculation about paranormal intervention. Now, according to a report by NBC Chicago, the Volo Museum was hosting a $6 million exhibit on the RMS Titanic when the building flooded for the first time in 4 decades. Investigators noticed that the deluge looked eerily similar to the scenes in the 1997 movie Titanic, and presumably to the rush of water when the real-life ship sank. So the Volo Museum is not known for flooding, but it is reportedly associated with paranormal activity. So the museum director, Brian Grams, said that there have been numerous unusual, unexplainable occurrences over the years, and there is no exception. So he went on, this is the first flood to happen in this building in over 40 years. We thoroughly inspected everything. There are no broken pipes, roof leaks, or any other obvious points of entry for such large amounts of water. Even the perimeter of the building with a concrete floor was dry, with no evidence of cracks or holes. The flood is a total mystery, and that is crazy. So the flood did occur during a heavy period of storm, however, in Chicago back in June, but the fact that it hit the Titanic exhibit in particular raised some eyebrows. The Titanic exhibit had reportedly been there for just over a year prior to the flood. And after the exhibit was closed temporarily, but it reopened by the end of the month, and staff worked overtime to preserve the historical artifacts and clean up. And the influx of water was caught on the museum's security cameras. And marketing director Jim Wajola told reports that watching was eerie, and he went on watching the water rush in on the footage eerily resembled scenes from the Titanic movie. Isn't that crazy? And they can't figure out why. So they have no idea. They have no idea what caused that flood. No pipes, nothing. No roof leaks, no walls. There's nothing. There's no explanation. That's really, really interesting. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Thank you there, Darlene. Is it Darlene? Thank you. Oh, you're going to Josh. You're going to Pigeon Forge tomorrow. Yeah, that is definitely my place to get away. And by the way, I'm going to let you guys know, I'm also going to be going to Graceland. Graceland. I will be heading there prior to the Arkansas Paranormal Expo. Right, Miss Judy Ann? And I will probably be doing a TikTok. Now, I can probably do Bible study on TikTok, but I know I won't be able to do Bible study on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter on Wednesday. So just heads up on that. I'll give you plenty of time to heads up before, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, so we're gonna really, really interested in doing the visiting Graceland again. It's been a long time since I've been there, so I'll do several TikToks. So make sure. But believe me, this is October 26th and 27th. So prior to that, like the 24th, 23rd, 24th, I'll let you guys know. I promise you, I will let you know. So before we do this, before we leave, this is an interesting. Well, it's already 8:48. We're gonna have to wrap things up here pretty soon. So, oh yeah, I will. Do you hang out at shopping malls? I don't. That is a very interesting question. I don't do shopping malls. I hate shopping. So no one has ever asked me if I ever hanged out at shopping malls. I'm kind of confused why. Okay. Maybe it got you from. Oh, he has an attachment. Oh, sorry. I looked down on TikTok and I saw someone ask me, do I hang out at the shopping malls? I'm thinking, well, that's interesting. So there's a conversation going on between someone having an attachment. Someone is asking them, well, do you hang out at shopping malls? Gotcha. Okay. I was like, what? Shopping malls. Okay. Now I got it. Yeah, apparently there was multiple questions or conversations going on. That's what happens. We have a chat here. And it's like, what? So no, I'm not a big shopper at all. I just, I guess I've never really liked shopping. But I have a feeling I'm going to be going shopping when I go to Graceland. So I get to see St. Elvis. So that'd be nice. All right. For those of you who are on Spreaker, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. Remember, everybody, don't forget. Don't forget. I'll stay with TikTok for just a little bit longer. So you guys just hang out. And I have to wrap up the show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and KGRADB Radio. But for you guys, I'll hang out for just a little bit longer. Don't forget that tomorrow we're going to be here. So tomorrow we're going to be here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, the church buys things, but we don't get paid. So as clergy, we don't get paid with our church community. We do this 100% free. So there's no payment at all. So, okay. Tomorrow we're going to be here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with open mic. And then Sunday, we're going to be here for our Bible study at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, which all of you are invited to, of course. And we're going to have a good time. Tonight, we have our night prayer. So we would love for you to join us. That's at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. And at 9:45, we play music. And then then we stop. We stop there. We start at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. And it's strictly audio. Strictly audio. So you can join us there. Just go to Bishop James, or just go to USOCC, or just bishopjameslong.com. I don't care. USOCC.org. Scroll all the way down. You'll see the night prayer. You'll also see instructions right below it on how you can chat. So for Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, KGRADB Radio, and Rumble, remember I tell you, your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. Remember, you are priceless, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. God bless. The Sacred Division has been brought to you by Bishop Long's online paranormal course. Learn demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. It's 100% online, and you learn at your own pace. Please go to www.bishopjameslong.com and click on the paranormal course link.